Hello, what's your name? Well, my name is Mona Mendoza, and I'm an officer here at USCIS. I'll be interviewing you today. Please have a seat. Did you have a hard time finding our office?
You could say something like, "No, it was easy." Or, "No, the directions were very clear." Or, "I got a little lost, but I found it."
How about that weather today?
You could say something like, "It's very nice." Or, "We had a lot of snow last night." Or, "I'm glad I brought my umbrella."
Are you feeling nervous about your interview today?
You could say something like, "Yes, a little." Or, "Yes, I feel a little nervous." Or, "I've studied very hard, but I'm still nervous."
Honestly, it's not that bad. We'll go slow. Are you ready?
You could say something like, "Yes, I am." Or, "Yes, I'm ready." Or, "Thank you, yes."
I'll be asking you a lot of questions today to see if you're ready to become a citizen. And you'll need to tell the truth. Do you understand?
You could say something like, "Yes, telling the truth means not lying." Or, "Yes, I understand. I must be honest." Or, "Yes, I need to be truthful. I cannot tell any lies."
Okay, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You should say something like, "I do," or, "Yes, I do," or, "Yes, I promise."
Okay, please sit down. First, what's your date of birth?
You should reply with your exact birth date. You could say something like, December 21st, 1986, or 3/11/1974, or I was born on April 30th, 1989.
On what date did you become a permanent resident of the U.S.?
You could say something like, I became a permanent resident on September 30th, 2003, or 11/3/02, or I have been a permanent resident since February 27th, 1998.
What country were you born in?
You could say something like, I'm from Guatemala, or I was born in Kazakhstan, or I come from Nigeria.
How many times have you been married?
You could say something like, I have only been married once, or I have never been married, or I have been married 3 times.
How tall are you?
You could say something like, 6 feet 1 inch, or I am 5 feet 2.5 inches tall, or I am 5'7".
What is your current address?
You could say something like 38 New South Road in Hicksville, New York, 11801, or 1173 Euclid Avenue, apartment 609, Miami, Florida, 33139, or 32 Portland Boulevard in Dover, New Hampshire, 03820.
During the last 5 years, what jobs have you had?
You could say something like, I have been an inventory manager at 3 different supermarkets, Fairway, Safeway, and P&M Foods. Or, I have had only one job. I am an accountant at Jasper and Rhodes. Or, I am a student at Danbury College, but 3 years ago I got a part-time job working at Burger Palace.
Please tell me about any trips you've taken outside of the United States in the past 5 years.
You could say something like, 3 years ago I took my children back home to see our family in Beijing for 10 days. Or, I went on a vacation to Rio de Janeiro for a week last winter, and the year before that, I spent 10 days in Sao Paulo. Or, I haven't been outside of the country since I first came here in 2001.
Do you have any children? What are their names, and how old are they?
You could say something like, my daughter Sophia is 10, and my son Raphael is 8. Or, I have 3 sons, James, Stephen, and Marcus. James is 6, Stephen is 4, and Marcus is 11 months. Or, I don't have any children yet.
Have you ever been a member of or in any way associated with a terrorist organization?
You could say something like, no. Or, no, never. Or, I have never been part of a terrorist organization.
Have you ever been arrested, cited, or detained by any law enforcement officer for any reason?
You could say something like, no. Or, no, I haven't. Or, no, I have never broken the law.
Do you support democracy and the American form of government?
You could say something like, yes. Or, yes, I do. Or, yes, I support democracy and the American government.
Great. Let's go on to the civics test. We'll start with this question. What are the 2 major political parties in the United States?
The correct answer to this question is Democratic and Republican.
In what month do we vote for president?
The correct answer to this question is November.
Name one war fought by the United States in the 1900s.
A correct answer to this question would include any one of the following: World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, or the Persian Gulf War.
Why does the flag have 50 stars?
A correct answer to this question would include any one of the following: because there is 1 star for each state, because each star represents a state, or because there are 50 states.
Okay. What are the 2 parts of the U.S. Congress?
The correct answer to this question is the Senate and the House of Representatives.
What is the capital of the United States?
The correct answer to this question is Washington, D.C.
When is the last day you can send in federal income tax forms?
The correct answer to this question is April 15th.
What is one responsibility that is only for United States citizens?
Correct possible answers to this question include serve on a jury or vote in a federal election.
What is one right or freedom from the First Amendment?
Correct possible answers to this question include freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, freedom of the press, or freedom to petition the government.
What did Martin Luther King Jr. do?
A correct answer to this question would be he fought for civil rights, or he worked for equality for all Americans.
Okay, we're going to move on to reading. Please read this sentence out loud.
This sentence says, what was the first state in the United States?
Okay, here's another one I'd like you to try.
This sentence says, who lives in the White House?
And here's another one. Please read this one out loud.
This sentence says, what do people in the United States have to pay?
All right, we're almost done. Please write this sentence on your paper. People come to the United States to be free. People come to the United States to be free.
This sentence should look like this.
Okay, here's another one I'd like you to write. New York City was the first capital of the United States. New York City was the first capital of the United States.
This sentence should look like this.
All right, please write down this sentence. Most people want freedom of speech. Most people want freedom of speech.
This sentence should look like this.
You obviously worked very hard at memorizing civics facts and learning English. You're going to be a great American citizen. Thanks for coming in today for your interview. Goodbye and good luck.